analyzing my every touch in Sunday League in the hope that I get better. Before we begin, I don't want to give too much away, but today's episode is a special one, so stick around. Alright, first touch of the game. Now we are 6 games into the season, so surely I've shaken off all the rust and I just do something decent here. No, of course not. Let's take a look at what I could have done differently. The obvious mistake here is that I do not track my teammate's run. I pass the ball to where he was rather than where he's going to be. Always take your teammate's momentum into account before making a pass. Now I make this pass because I feel the pressure of number 43 coming toward me. This is a reasonable response. However, I think a better play would have been to let this run, allowing me to get my body in front of him and the ball and start taking this down the line, letting us build our attack. Next touch. Kirk tries to play the ball to our mid Matthias, but it gets deflected off one of their defenders. We lose possession, but one of their players takes a heavy touch and the ball bounces out toward me. I attack the loose ball and manage to get my head on it out toward my teammate Ross. I then hit a casual John Wick type roll to celebrate the fact that I'm a goddamn hero. I put my body on the line to get this ball to my teammate. Salute me. All things considered, I think this was a decent play. I spotted the run of my open teammate and got a head on it to bring it out of the air quicker. If anything, my note would be to once again try and anticipate his momentum better and play it out in front of him rather than exactly at his body, as this forced him to try and control it awkwardly. And also to maybe go see a doctor about this spontaneous case of vertigo. Next play. Strap in, it's gonna be a longer one. My right back Ross sends the ball out to me on the line. I manage to run and keep it from going out with a heavy touch. One of their wingers tries to capitalize by attacking the loose ball. I politely swerve his advance by hitting a Cruyff turn and run down the line. I'm then met with another fine gentleman attempting to stop me from this Maradona-like run, but I casually swat him out of existence, making my way to the center. Here, I feel too much pressure from behind, so I decide to slow things down and reassess my options. The option I end up choosing is booting the ball straight into my teammate's ankles, and using that rebound as a way to continue this flawless play. It's this kind of direct, forward movement that Chelsea were hoping to get out of Mudryk. Sorry lads, maybe this upcoming transfer window you'll get it right. I then continue dribbling down the middle until I see Derek open on the wing and send the ball into his stride. Honestly, aside from blasting this into Kirk's shins, this was decent, positive play. For an out-of-shape 25-year-old who runs like Sterling, I approve. Here the ball is headed out to me by an opposing defender. I move at 0.5 speed to keep it in play and then try to brute force myself through this defender. I then play it back to my right back and run off into the sunset. A very creative play. Let's see if potentially there was something else I could do. When going to retrieve this ball, I seem to forget that we are in the middle of a soccer game and not on the beaches of Mykonos where time stands still. My speed and my touch could have made a big difference here. If I had even the slightest pep in my step, it would get me to this ball earlier, leaving more space between me and this midfielder. Once at the ball, I should have taken a heavier touch diagonally toward the center, getting across the momentum of the mid tracking back and getting my body in between him and the ball. I would then be in a much better position to try and pass it off to one of my teammates. Also, while running to this ball, I should have looked over my shoulder to bring this midfielder into existence, and give myself some motivation to move faster than the speed walkers of a retirement community. Moving on. Kirk clears the ball out to the wing and I chase after it. I take a great first touch into space and begin dribbling down the center of the field. I look up and notice that I am strangely close to the goal all of a sudden. So I panic and blast the ball straight into the ground, but force a corner. So I'm actually the GOAT. Apart from the strike, if you want to call it that, this was another positive play. Sorry, I'm not used to this. This first touch was great because it took the ball straight into space and put it in between these two defenders. My run up until this point was also decent. None of my touches killed my momentum too much, and I recognized that I had a lot of space in front of me. Here is where it falls apart. I realize that I have been dribbling for quite a while without any issue, and that feels so unfamiliar to me that it became too much and I needed to relieve myself of this feeling by just booting this ball from way too far out. Looking back at this, you can see I still have a lot of space in front of me. Right now, the only defender pressuring me is the one off my right shoulder. So if I just continue dribbling, but out toward here, I would still have the space to go into while protecting the ball with my body. I should then just keep dribbling until either 15 or 21 step up to pressure me and then either take my shot or pass into the space created by pulling in another defender. It would have been awesome if I did that, but I didn't. Alright, back to the real world. Our center back Andy clears the ball high into the sky. I track it perfectly and then take a beautiful phantom touch. The ball springs back into the air, so I go in for another attempt, and what an attempt it was, as the ball kind of just rolls off the top of my head. With all the time I spent trying to bring this ball down, I get sandwiched by 2 players, so I poke the ball out to my mid Matthias to clean up my mess. Ideally, I just actually make contact with the ball here, take my touch out here into space, and look for an open pass. Similar to how I do it here from my most recent game. Moving on. Matthias takes a corner which gets headed out toward the far post. I spring in action and stretch out every inch of my being to hit this with my right foot and back into a dangerous area. I think this was a good example of reacting quickly, and my delivery was decent. Here, Andy makes a great tackle to intercept the ball. He then plays the ball out to me on the wing, where I take an okayish touch in front of me, but then once again lack any sense of urgency and let this defender dispossess me from behind. Biggest note, prior to receiving the ball, always scan. You should always be looking around to see where the space is, which defenders pose the biggest threat, and where your open teammates are. This should be done every few seconds and then right before receiving the ball. You should already have a plan in place on what to do once the ball is played to you, and scanning right before you take your touch will allow you to commit to the plan or change it if you notice something new. I didn't do any of that. In my world, I get to take this touch, pull out my phone, watch a quick top 5 skills you need as a winger video, and then eventually break the defender's ankle. When I'm ready to. Had I looked over my shoulder, I would have been aware of this pressure. I then should have continued dribbling down the line and then play out to Kirk, who is open right here. Next play, Derek plays a fantastic through ball. The keeper comes out and I have a defender on my left. I managed to stick a foot out and poke the ball past the keeper, but unfortunately the touch goes too lateral and away from my momentum. I then trip myself off the back of the knee of the defender and we go for a nice tumble, which gets whistled for a foul. Not much else I could have done here other than just be faster and potentially taken a better touch that was more in the direction of my run. Moving on, Matthias plays the ball out to me. I fuck up my first touch, so I try again with my second, which goes into the right space, but this guy's already on me, and I lose possession. This was almost a decent play. I had the right idea, but that's all I had. If I was better at this sport, I would have got into the space with my first touch. This is a great space because it takes both these players who are trying to pressure me out of the game, at least for a little. The touch would go against both of their momentums. I'd be past this guy the same way I was with my second touch, but I would also be ahead of this tracking back player, allowing me to once again shield the ball with my body. I could then look for the reverse pass out to Linden here, but I'm not Messi, so never mind. Or I could keep dribbling in this direction and look for my other winger as an outlet. Alternatively, I could hit a couple casual step overs, a quick rainbow flick to roulette to Ronaldo chop, and then Rabona it into the back of the net. This would be the best option. This upcoming play is an example of great off-the-ball movement. Right now, I'm behind my marker. As Matthias receives the ball, I recognize that there is a big gap in their defense. So I run out in front of my marker and use my body to keep him on my shoulder. Matthias spots my run and plays a great ball which I am just unable to control, and I lose possession. This was a great run, and if at the time of receiving this ball, I, for a split second, turned into, say, Dennis Bergkamp, or anyone else really, this could have been a great chance. Unfortunately, I'm just myself. So let's move on. Here, I managed to tackle one of their defenders and start moving down the line with a great touch. I then see another defender blocking my path and realize I don't have enough cash for this toll, so I reverse out of there and play the ball out to my mid Matthias. This was okay, but I wish I had just continued my run and went down the line. It's hard to make out, but I think there is enough space on the line to beat this defender and try for a cross. Although, it would have to be with my right foot, and my right-footed crosses don't have the best track record. So, never mind, maybe, I don't know. Alright, I'm feeling generous. So I'm about to share with you, completely free, the DJ Dave 3-step guide on how to bring the ball down from the air. First step, miss the ball entirely. Second step, try again, but use the worst part of your body possible. And then the third and final step, abort. Just boot the ball somewhere and give up. It's not happening. Hope that helped. Next play. Matthias plays a beautiful ball down the line and I chase after it. After running for a whole 0.3 seconds, I decide I'm done with that and begin casually jogging over to the ball. I then stop it dead, walk past it, and take all the time in the world to send in this absolute dumpster fire of a ball. The front post would have been good. We got Ross over there. The back post would have been good. There's Linden. Slightly more back would have been good. Marco is open. But nah. I'll put it in the one spot where 4 opposing players can get to it and no one else. In the industry, we call this creative vision. Speaking of vision, we know it's not 2020 because looking back at this, we can see I had other options than this. When running after the ball, I should not have slowed down, but instead continued my momentum and tried to take my touch toward goal. As you can see, there is a good bit of space at the edge of the box. This would pull number 4 toward me, opening a passing lane for either Ross or Marco at the top of the box, or both open and in a great shooting position. Alright, let's take a quick palate cleanser and watch how we get our first goal. Linden plays the ball out to our other winger, Derek, who takes a great touch against the defender's momentum. He opens up a nice gap and guides the ball beautifully onto the underside of the crossbar and into the opponent's net. Okay, back to the normal stuff. I receive the ball from Ross after some ping-ponging and find myself in an awfully similar situation to the one Derek was just in. Inspired by Derek's beautiful underside of the crossbar, I decide to one-up him and strike a stunning ball into the Earth's atmosphere. Monkey see, monkey poo. Uh-oh, a throw-in. It's been 6 games. I'm good at throw-ins now, I promise. Maybe I should become a stuntman instead. All right, here's another one. Maybe I redeem myself. Ball comes out to me. I decide to chest it down. I then get it stuck under my feet, but use my body well to at least shield the ball while I sort my shit out. I then hit a quick little Cruyff turn to leave this defender in the dust, but then instead of continuing my run down the line, I just kick the ball into 42's shins. It comes back out to me. I pass it off to Matthias. He gives it back to me. I take another horrendous touch, but then manage to once again shield the ball and eventually release this pressure with a fucking sick-ass back heel. Never would I ever predict that a play that involves this and this can also have this and this. Now that's called the duality of man. Okay, let's ignore most of the latter part of that play and just focus on the throw-in. When this comes to me, this defender is giving me a lot of space, and there's also a lot of space down the line. If I let this run, there would have been an opportunity to take it toward goal and look to square to someone in the box. Alternatively, the safer option would be to just go toward the ball and take my touch here and either give it back to Linden or to Matthias here. Moving on to another palate cleanser. The ball comes out to Linden, who is dropped deep. He plays the ball out to Matthias, who destroys this defender with a chip over a slide tackle. He then continues his run, breaking the ankle of numerous other players, and sends in a stunning through ball for Linden, who is one-on-one with the goalie. He decides to take his touch past the goalie and blasts it into the back of the net, making it 2-0. What an incredible combination play between these two. When I grow up, I want to be like them. Okay, back to me. Oh, for f***'s sake. Blah, blah, blah. Something about looking over my shoulder and taking my touch into space. Blah, blah, blah. Next play. Kirk launches the ball forward. One of their defenders gets a head on it, and I attack the loose ball. I take a good first touch into space and continue dribbling. The defender manages to stick a toe out, but fortunately, the ball goes into a good space for me. I decide to run onto it and just strike it with vigor, sending it just high off the top corner. This is by far my best strike yet. Not much to analyze here. Just put it in the top bins, pussy. Here, the ball is played back to the keeper, who decides to clear it. His clearance ends up going straight to me, and I bring it down with my chest with the assistance of my insane vertical. I then take a great first touch into space and use my second to get away from my defender and toward the goal. I then set myself up for the shot, and
Let's go.
I score. Holy fucking shit, I score! Let's fucking go! Now, do we have to focus on the fact that if it wasn't for this deflection, that this would have been going to the corner flag? No. I had already accounted for the deflection. I'm a god, don't question me ever again. Also, right before scoring this goal, Anthony calls out the following from the sideline.
You look good. Look pretty.
Thanks, Anthony. I did look pretty. Anyway, after becoming a goal scorer and reacting to my goal similar to how a teenager reacts to seeing boobs for the first time, I purposely put myself back on the same plane as you mere mortals with this play.
Oh.
Epic. Now, with the balance of the universe being all out of whack, with us being 3-0 up, and with me scoring on top of that, we needed a hard reset. Needless to say, balance has been restored. Ball comes out to Nick, who tries to head it out to Matthias. Number 20 manages to get a head on it, however, but thankfully the ball comes out to me. I decide to compress my body to 1/2 my size and chest this down. I then face this defender. I hit him with a quick turn and start running down the half space. A defender comes out to pressure my heavy touch, but I manage to take my touch away from him and continue my run. I then think about shooting, but realize I'm still quite far, so I keep dribbling until another defender steps out to me. I then hit him with a fake shot, dribble past him, and he takes me down, earning me a free kick. I step up to take it, confidence flowing through my veins. I pick my spot, and holy shit, I blast it low into the bottom corner. Somehow, I break my 6-game drought with not 1, but 2 goals. I believe a new conversation is in order. Forget Messi v Ronaldo. What about DJ Dave Soccer? All right, we move on to the final play of the game. Matthias intercepts the ball and blasts the ball straight out toward me. I take an okayish touch toward goal. I am now foaming at the lips at the thought of a hat trick. The defender tries to close me in, but I hit him with a cutback and I score another. Oh no, wait, I miss the ball, fuck it up, and lose possession. Bummer. And then the final whistle blows. We win 4-1, and I finally get laid. Just kidding. But jokes aside, this was a very good game for me. There were still instances of silly mistakes and a lack of awareness, but there were also glimpses of learning, and I think this match analysis series has been a big reason for that. So thank you for watching and joining me in this journey of self-betterment. Please subscribe if you enjoyed, and let's get better together.